patients don't want to stand up for their own interests. I always teach, because I'm like the empowered patient that tries to teach patients
Yes.
that you're not in control. If you're talking to a doctor, a PA, a nurse, they are consultants in your health. They're not the grand almighty God that
Right.
tells you you must do these things. They're like a consultant in your business, and in this case, your business is your health. Now,
Yes.
you don't know anything. These consultants have good knowledge, but they're not the ones that make final decisions. So I wish patients would recognize that's their role, rather than just say, well, the person in the white coat told me, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, take a statin medication, so I guess I have to take this, not knowing why they're taking it.
Exactly, 110%. And I always, remind, like I said, family, friends, that at the end of the day, they're not losing sleep because you're having, itchy skin or dry hair or something's going on that hasn't yet been, shed light on as far as what's the reason and how can we make it better. They're not thinking of those things day in and day out. You will be. That's your health. So or getting off the medication, like, is much easier for them to say, here's another refill. So much easier than saying, all right, let's figure out how we can get you off this medication. So you really do have to stand up and say, no, this is my health goal. This is what I want to accomplish. I don't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. Let's take a stand.
And let's not forget the indelible tentacles and fingers of the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes.
A big role in teaching in medical school, in the CME credits. I've been to some of those conferences
Oh, yes.
where get and PAs and nurses all get CME credits. And it's like they're pervasive in the whole system. And it's like you have to break that system as well in order to get through to patients figuring out why things are being told to them in the way they're being told.
Right. Right, absolutely. Yeah, they focus more on the solution. Like I said, it really is a lack of focus on prevention, and taking it back, saying, why did this happen, versus, oh, well, we don't exactly know why, but we have a solution that'll cover it up.
What's amazing to me, Austin, is we have so much scientific literature now that shows that food is a lot more powerful than we ever thought it was in our health. And that metabolically, like almost 9 out of 10 people are dealing with some level of insulin resistance directly related to what I call crappy garbage in the diet. And it's just leading to more inflammation and higher insulin and all the metabolic effects of metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. And why that can't trickle into frontline people. I know you yourself know this stuff, but you're one out of 1,000 maybe medical people who understands this stuff on any level.
Yeah, no, I really, and it's where do you bring it in? I would love for it to be in the education department, but I don't know, people, it's like they're stuck in their ways, or this is how we've always done it. And that's the sad thing. That's what you see reflected in the hospital too. Like, why are these patients who just had surgery for an inflamed joint getting inflammatory foods? That makes no sense. You're giving them ice cream and pop pure sugar after their surgery to rebuild what you just, apparently fixed on a superficial level, but
we all know you need glucose to heal. Come on, Austin. Knows that.
I know. It's even funny, people they're who are in, like-minded and are aware of insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction. They have to go into a hospital for a procedure or something. They're like, what should I ask or say or not? And I'm like, you don't need the glucose in your IV just being shot into you. You will be fine in a ketogenic state. You don't even need to eat, like, fast if you want.
I'm gonna say it'd be far better if they ate nothing. Like,
Absolutely.
if I was for a week or less, I would almost say, just don't feed me anything. What
Exactly.
you want? Nothing. What do you want for lunch? Water and
Right.
salt. Water and real salt, and I'm good.
I know. Honestly, I think that should be part of it. Because yeah, it's amazing what they were food wise, what they were given, and it made no sense.
Look at what's happened though. We have normalized crappy garbage, especially in a hospital setting.
Ugh,
Been told that fasting is starvation and incredibly dangerous. We've been told an all meat diet, like that is the stupidest, craziest thing you could possibly do.
yep.
Like so many things that we take for granted as normal and fine that the world out there would go, whoa, 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 what are you trying to do to people?
Right. No, it's very true. Everything, which is why, I some days, yeah, I get frustrated and I'm like, just, how can I get through? How can I continue to help people? But I have to remind myself that it's not it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. Like this is what we were told. This is what we were, everything is, oh, this is from the whether it's the government or these studies, even if they were, rigged studies and not actually well conducted studies. It's what we were told. It's what we believed, and it's changing that. Yes, it's going to be a hurdle, but we just have to persist on.
So I'm curious, did you find carnivore before you became a PA or after?
So after I was paleo when I
Ah,
started practicing.
okay.
Yeah,
So you already understood the value of healthy fats, the value of animal-based foods, probably some gut microbiome and things like
definitely.
that. You all the value of that from your paleo world. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Paleo, I did the kind of the classic transition from paleo to keto to carnivore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's a natural thing. Like people always like, wow, you really jumped to carnivore. No, most people don't just jump from sad to
right.
carnivore.
Yeah,
Most people have
and
that
that's
kind
definitely
of
something for those who do want to go from standard American diet to carnivore. Those are the ones that I actually, with clients anyway, I have a little bit of concern as far as the mindset because it can be like, I'm going to drop this weight or I'm going to get healthy, or it's a short-term mindset. And I think that progression, that transition is very helpful to make it a long-term sustainable approach.
part of the challenge is when people go to make some kind of diet change, generally the motivation is weight loss.
Right.
And our culture has hammered that into us. I don't even think the biggest benefit of a carnivore diet is weight loss. A lot of people lose
No,
weight on it. It's wonderful. But the primary benefit of carnivore is not even close to weight loss.
no.
How do you pitch it to your clients who come to you and say, I want to lose weight, Austin. Help me how to
Mhm.
change my diet, Austin. Weight loss is the only goal I have. How do you reframe that for them?
So yeah, I think the big focus needs to be on healing, and healing it's going to be from the inside out. A lot of it has to do with this, having restricted eating for years and years and years. Again, focusing on like metabolically fixing the issue, which many people say, oh, that's their first complaint is they turn to a carnivore diet for weight loss and they don't lose the weight in the beginning. And it's because immediately I say, your hormones are still broken. Like we haven't fixed anything yet.
And they're also very likely to be protein deficient
Yes,
having eaten that diet. Like people think, well, I had hamburgers. No, you had pseudo-ish kind of meat-ish
right.
stuff with a whole lot of refined carbohydrate in your sad diet. So you're incredibly deficient in amino acids.
Yes.
So rebuilding that is going to pack on a little bit of weight when you first
Oh,
start.
definitely.
A healthy way, like weight on the scale. I so wish there was some other way people could measure without stepping on a scale.
Oh,
But see,
no.
they've
The
been conditioned
scale is so
to
frustrating.
scale in what?
The scale is so frustrating, especially with a protein diet, because you are going to hold on to water. And when you up that amount of protein, you're holding on to that water in order to kind of flush out the kidneys. The kidneys need that water because now there's a greater demand. So people say, oh man, I'm gaining weight, I'm gaining weight. Yeah, you're like until your kidneys ramp up and they're, feel they become kind of a new adaptation as far as processing that amount of protein. Like all those, that fluid balance is going to work itself out, but you got to trust the process. And even if you do gain a little bit of fat in the meantime, this is like subcutaneous fat. You know, the aim is to minimize visceral fat. I mean, again, this is all metabolic health. Metabolically, we are fixing things. This is not about the weight loss. That weight loss will come, but first, and I always give it, because time frame is a very, very heavily weighted, and everybody's like, well, how long? How long? So I say, well, how old are you? Okay, well, think how many years, let's say they're 60 years old. So you expected weight loss in 6 days or even 6 weeks when you've been eating a standard American diet or been metabolically broken for 60 years? Oh my God.
Or even 6 months, or even
Yeah,
6 years. Like, let's get
exactly.
real about the cumulative effects of this, and that each year that you continued in the bad pattern
Oh
is
yeah.
adding more time in the healing. Like, people, there's no other diet I've ever heard of other than like a keto, carnivore, even paleo. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing immediate results. I'm like, I've never heard anybody say that about a low fat diet or a vegan diet. Like, it just doesn't get that onus put on it.
Right. Yeah, no, I think, again, the mindset needs to be this long-term approach, and that you're healing. It is not a quick fix. If
But
that is
but
what social media portrayed and that's what you took, I'm sorry, you will be very disappointed.
you know what it is? It's all the hype. It's all
Yeah.
the positiveness, and rightfully so. Carnivore, keto, paleo, all of those have their place in our culture of people getting better. But it's been so hyped as, oh wow, look at this weight loss success. Oh wow, look at this health turnaround.
Mhm.
I've had many people on this show before who have had massive turnarounds. I had one girl recently, Rebecca Farmer. You probably know
Oh yeah.
her, who Tailored Keto Health is her username, and she overcame 20 like autoimmune
Incredible story.
time. My God, she's like the poster child of carnivore
She
healing your
is.
body. And it's those kinds of stories that put that expectation on people.
Mhm.
Well, I guess if I go keto or carnivore, that's the results I'm going to have. And so they
Right.
want it. And if it doesn't happen as quickly for them, then they get pissed.
Right. Yeah. Like it's 2 to 3 weeks in, and they're writing in on the Facebook group, or, the social media group, like, why, what am I doing wrong? And then that's another thing that many people, so a carnivore is often used as an elimination approach, which I think it's a very, very useful tool for that, especially with people with autoimmune conditions, chronic conditions. But with that, many people believe that going more strict is going to get you a quicker result, or like a better result. And I've actually seen,
What's more strict on a carnivore diet? Leaner meats?
well, just going like beef, water, salt versus doing eggs
Uh,
and chicken and pork. Just bringing it down to kind of Michaela Peterson's
Lion.
lion diet. Yeah, so they believe that, well, I'm doing everything so strict. Why am I not seeing results? And even, strict carnivore does not mean faster results, faster weight loss. It does not mean better results. It is, strict carnivore is more for, again, people with conditions where they need to really eliminate everything and kind of zone in on what is affecting them, what is causing them the joint pain or the headaches or those types of things. So this again, this all or nothing mentality, it's not long term.
So, is there any benefit? Because I know in the world of fasting, there's benefit to switching up your fasting protocol. One day you do 18-6, next day you do OMAD, the day after that, maybe you skip and do a 36 to 42-hour fast, and you kind of just keep your body guessing. Is there any benefit to doing the same thing with carnivore? One day you have beef, the next day you have pork, the next day you have chicken, you just kind of
Yeah.
mix it up. That work in the same way?
I haven't actually done experiments as far as like strategically changing the different types of animals. But I myself can say that I definitely have days where I'm like, oh, I just really want like chicken wings, or I just really want a piece of seafood. So I think, over time, and it will be after like I've done just